Hey guys, welcome to Science 360. And this time I came up with another concept. So this time the concept is benzene and its derivatives. So what are the important derivatives of benzene we have, and what are the preparation methods of benzene? So let's start. Benzene and benzene derivatives. So on benzene ring, you can see 6 carbons are there in benzene ring, and each carbon will be having one hydrogen attached to that. Okay, so that hydrogen we are replacing with other groups. Okay, other atoms or groups. So then we call them as benzene derivatives. Okay, so suppose I have a benzene ring like this. So there are 6 carbons on it, and each carbon will be having one hydrogen there. All the 6 carbons are attached with one hydrogen there. So we are just replacing that hydrogens with different groups or different atoms, and those are called as benzene derivatives. Okay, like I substitute some X group here on benzene ring. Suppose I kept some X, that means in place of one hydrogen, some X group is there. So it is mono substituted benzene because only one atom is replaced, one hydrogen is replaced. So mono substituted benzene. We are just doing substitution. That means we are just replacing that H plus ion with other positive ion. Okay, so that is mono substituted. And disubstituted. Disubstituted means 2 hydrogens. That means at 2 carbons, 2 hydrogens we replaced, like X, Y. Okay, 2 carbons, 2 positions, 2 hydrogens are replaced there. Okay, so when 2 hydrogens replaced, then we call it as disubstituted benzene. So similarly, 3, if I replace trisubstituted benzene. So likewise are different. All the 6 carbons can be equally get substituted. So because all the 6 carbons, whatever we have there, all of them are equivalent. Okay, they are same only. So that's why you can do the first substitution or mono substitution anywhere in the carbon set. Okay, anywhere on the benzene ring, because all the 6 carbons are equivalent. So wherever it was substituted, that will be the first carbon there. Okay, here it is the first carbon. So now when disubstituted or trisubstituted or polysubstituted are there, in such a case, again, among X and Y, we need to have a priority. Okay, which will be a prior functional group or prior element. Okay, that we have to check. So based on that, numbering will start. Okay, suppose here X is a prior group, so I'll start giving the numbering from X. So that will be 1 and 2. Okay, so that means it is 1, 2 substituted benzene. So similarly, 1, 3 substituted benzene can also be there. Okay, in disubstituted benzenes, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. Okay, these are the 3 types you can see. So X is the main functional group, you can say, suppose that. And this is 1, 3 substitution. Okay, here it is 1, 2 substituted. Okay, now in this case, again, this is also disubstituted only, but this time it is 1, 3 disubstituted. 1, 3 disubstituted. So this 1, 2 disubstituted, 1, 2 substituted, that compound is called as ortho position. Okay, ortho substituted compound. 1, 2 position is known as ortho position. And next 1, 3 position, if you say, that is called as meta position. So similarly, if I go with 1, 4, okay, let's go with the 1, 4 substitution there. That means if I go with this is X, that is the first prior group, and here if it is attached Y, that is the second prior group. So that was on the fourth carbon. Now this is 1,4 substituted benzene. So this 1,4 substituted benzene, we call it as a para substituted benzene. So this is called as para position there. Okay, para substituted or para position will be same. So when we are writing the IUPAC nomenclature, we write like 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4 on. Okay. So suppose you might say there are 5, 6 carbons also there. So why can't we write 5 and 6? 1, 5, 1, 6. Why can't we write? Okay. Suppose if I say this is X first position. Okay. So if I say here it is substituted Y, then also it will be 1, 3 position only, because now I'll start I'll give the numbering in this direction now. So this is 1, 3 again. Okay. So similarly, if I go with 1, 6, that will become 1, 2 only again. Suppose here I added X and here Y, that is on the 6th carbon. You cannot say it is 6th carbon, because now with the numbering will start from here. 1, 2 in this direction will get. So there is 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4 positions only. Not 1, 5, 1, 6 won't be there. Okay. So these are ortho, para and meta positions we have on benzene. Okay. So sometimes in general nomenclature, we write them as ortho compound, ortho substituted compound, or para substituted compound, or meta substituted compound. Okay. So different groups we can substitute on benzene rings. Okay. Different alkyl groups can be substituted. Different functional groups also can be substituted over there. Okay. So that is regarding substitution on benzene. So next, after di-substituted, tri-substituted can also be there. That means 3 positions on benzene. So like if I substitute like this, 1, 2, 3 positions now. Okay, all 3 are substituted. 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So similarly, I can substitute. I can have another tri-substitution like 1, 2, and 4 also can be present. 1, 2, 4. Okay. So here it is 1, 2, 3 tri-substituted. And here it is 1, 2, 4 substituted. Tri-substitution happened there. So next, one more also you can see this 1, 3, 5. That's a tri-substitution also can be there. 1, 3, 5. Okay, 1, 3, 5. Tri-substituted, you can say. Or this one you can also say that it is symmetrically substituted. Okay, symmetrical isomer you can say this, because 1, 3, 5 equal distances with each other. So that's why it is a symmetrical compound, you can say this. Okay, symmetrically substituted compound, right? So these are the isomers you can see for substituted benzene rings. Okay. So here when it is tri-substituted, 3 isomers you can get. When it is di-substituted, again 3 isomers you will be getting. And when it is mono-substituted, only 1 isomer only will be there. Okay, so because all the 6 carbons are same only. So when all the 6 carbons are same, you can say only 1 isomer. Okay, anywhere you attach it, that will be the first carbon here. Okay, anywhere you can attach, right? So there are some important compounds for benzene. Okay, important derivatives of benzene are there. So that we'll see, that examples I'll be giving. Now, first example is on benzene ring, if you are having methyl group. So this particular compound, you can write it as methyl benzene. So that will be the IUPAC name, or else you can use this also. Toluene also you can write. Okay, so that is the name of this benzene. So next, C2H5. Here it is attached. This is called ethyl benzene. So next, halogens. You can attach halogen in place of hydrogen. So that means a halobenzene, you can say that. So here I'm attaching chlorine, so it can be chlorobenzene. Similarly, bromine, iodine also you can attach. So bromobenzene and iodobenzene you can say. Okay, simply halobenzene you can write if you are attaching halogens over there. And next, on benzene, if I have NO2, so that way NO2 is called nitro group. So this is called nitrobenzene. Okay, so on benzene, if you are having amino group, NH2, okay, here NH2 is there on benzene ring. So this you can call it as, you can say benzenamine, okay, benzanamine. Okay, benzenamine you can say, or else you can write aminobenzene, or generally we call it as aniline also. Okay, this is having other name aniline. Okay, so this is another important compound we have. So next, on benzene ring, if you keep OH group, so this is called as hydroxybenzene, or we call it as phenol. Okay, this is called phenol. Right, so similarly on benzene ring, now we'll attach CHO. So these are all comes under benzene derivatives. So on benzene ring, what we are just doing is we are replacing one of the hydrogen with this groups. Okay, so this we can write it as formyl benzene, or else we can also write it as benzaldehyde. We call it as benzaldehyde there. Okay, so similarly on benzene ring, if you add COH, carboxylic acid group, so this time you can write it as benzoic acid, or else carboxybenzene also you can write it. Okay, that is also correct one. Carboxybenzene. Okay, so next on benzene ring, so I'm keeping OCH3 methoxy group. So we can write it as methoxybenzene, or we generally call this compound as anisole. Okay, we call it as anisole compound. Right, so next on benzene ring, now I'll attach CH double bond CH2. So this we call it as vinyl benzene. So this vinyl benzene is also known as styrene. So whatever compounds we are writing now, all these are benzene derivatives only. Okay. Next, similarly, on benzene ring, you can attach SO3H, that is sulfonic acid group. So you can call it as benzene sulfonic acid. So similarly on benzene ring, now we are attaching diazonium chloride N2Cl. Okay. So that N2Cl is called diazonium chloride. So you can simply write it as benzene diazonium chloride. Okay, so these are all different derivatives on benzene. Okay, so monosubstituted benzene rings. Okay, now monosubstituted benzene rings. So whenever you are attaching, okay, so for any alkyl chain, okay, any carbon chain, parent chain, if you are attaching only C6H5, okay, if you are attaching only C6H5, you attach, that time we'll write it as phenyl group. Okay, as a substituent or a side chain, you have to take it. It is a phenyl group. So sometimes what we'll attach is we'll attach like this. Okay, like on benzene ring, there will be CH2 group, and here on CH2 group there will be an attachment. Okay, like you can write like this: C6H5 CH2. So now the attachment with CH2 it will is there. Okay, likewise you can mention. And this particular group we call it as benzyl group here. Okay, we can call it as benzyl group that time. Right? So next, sometimes what we'll do is we'll attach like this. Okay, on benzene ring. Now here it is attaching. Okay, benzene ring here it is attaching to the parent chain. But what happened? But there is one methyl group present here. Here there is a methyl group. Okay, this is attached to the parent chain here. At this point, it is attaching there. So this particular group, okay, or simply you can write it as C6H4CH3. Okay, CH3 is not attaching there. Understand? CH3 is not going to attach. Benzene ring is only attaching to the parent chain, right? So here you can write like this. So that time we take it as orthotolyl group. Okay, orthotolyl group. So likewise we'll be writing in it. So I'll tell you some examples related to this groups. Okay. Suppose I have a compound like this. Benzene ring, and here CH2 COOH I have. Okay, now benzene ring won't be the parent chain. Okay, because functional group is here, that will be the first carbon there, and there are two carbons on the chain. So that benzene ring will be a substituent only there. So we can write this compound name as 2-phenyl ethanoic acid only. Okay, 2-phenyl ethanoic acid. So benzene ring cannot be the parent chain in that case. So similarly, suppose I have a benzene ring like this. So this benzene ring here it is attached with CH2 CH2OH. Okay, it was like this, right? So now if I see this compound also, functional group is OH group. So that will be the parent chain. So only the carbon chain will be the pairing chain, and this benzene ring will be a substituent only. So now I can write it as 2-phenyl group. Okay, on second carbon, phenyl group is there. Only C6H5 attached now. So phenyl group is there. So 2-phenyl ethanol you can write it. Okay, that is 2-phenyl ethanol. Suppose I have a compound like this. Okay, so on benzene ring, I have chlorine, directly chlorine attached there. So now this is chlorobenzene. Okay, now, or simply you can also write it as phenyl chloride. Okay, suppose the same benzene ring was there, but now that chlorine is not directly attached on benzene ring, it was attached like this. Here it is attached. Okay, now this is not chlorobenzene now. Okay, that cannot be the chlorobenzene. So it is 1-chloro, 1-phenyl methane. Okay, the compound name is 1-chloro, 1-phenyl methane, because the chloro group is the functional group here. So 1-chloro, 1-phenyl methane, that is the compound name now. Okay, or else you have to write it as benzyl chloride. You can write benzyl chloride. Okay, already I told you this group C6H5CH2, that part is benzyl part. Okay, that is a benzyl substitute. So on that benzyl group, chlorine is there. So benzyl chloride, you can say that. So likewise, we need to give. Okay, so we'll see some of the. Okay, next coming to the next example. Suppose I give you a compound like this. On benzene ring, now I have a methyl group over here and chloro group over here. Okay, so now the compound name. Okay, for this the compound name what you can write is 2-chloro. Okay, that means toluene will be the parent name for it. Okay, so the toluene will be the parent name for it, and this will be the first carbon, and this will be the second carbon. So that is how we can write. Or else you can also write it like this: ortho-toluene chloride. Okay, because we said no ortho-toluene group. What is it? Right. So this particular group. Okay, so that particular group we consider it as ortho-toluene group. So there chlorine is attached. So that's why it is ortho-toluene group. Okay. Next, few more examples we'll try. And suppose I have disubstituted benzenes like this. 2 methyl groups I'm attaching on the benzene ring now. So this is 2 methyl groups on benzene ring. We generally call it as xylene. Okay, these compounds are called as xylenes. Okay, so that xylene will say this, or you can also write it as xylene is a common name, and this is when 1-2 position it is there. So orthoxylene you can write. Okay, so when it comes to IUPAC nomenclature, so there is 1,2 dimethyl benzene. Okay, 1,2 dimethyl benzene you can write. Okay, that is IUPAC name. So if it is on ortho position, orthoxylene will say. If it is on para position, paraxylene. If it is on meta position, metaxylene. Okay, so like this. This is metaxylene. M-xylene simply we write. Okay. M stands for meta. So similarly, 2 methyl groups on benzene ring in para position if you have, this is called as paraxylene. So if you want their IUPAC names, you can write like this: 1,3 dimethyl benzene. So paraxylene means 1,4-dimethyl benzene. So like that, you can write their IUPAC name. Okay. So 1,3,1,2,1,4. Okay, these are called as ortho, meta, para substituted. Next, suppose I have a compound like this. Now this time I have bromine attached on benzene ring and nitro group attached on benzene ring. Okay. So now if I want to give the nomenclature for this, okay. So that time according to the alphabetical order of the substituents, bromine is a substituent and nitro group is also substituent. So that will be the first carbon where bromine is attached. Okay, because according to substituents theory, so substituent which comes first in alphabetical order will be given the lower possible number. So bromine comes first in alphabetical order. So bromine will be given the lower number possible. So you can write it as 1-bromo 3-nitrobenzene. Okay, so that is the IUPAC name, 1-bromo 3-nitrobenzene. So this you can write it as IUPAC name. Or if you want common name, then we can write it as meta-bromo nitrobenzene. You can write. So ortho, meta, para, that is a common nomenclature. Okay, not the IUPAC. Okay, remember that part. Suppose I have benzene ring with a functional group and a substituent like this. If it is there. Okay. So suppose I have a nitro group over here. Okay. So now functional group is OH. Okay, that is the main functional group. NO2 will be the substituent. So definitely I have to start it from here only. Okay. So I am getting 2 nitro now. Okay. 2 nitrophenol you can write now. Okay, 2 nitrophenol. That is a nomenclature for this compound. Because the functional group should be given the priority now. So that should be given the lowest possible number. So that's why OH, that carbon will get the first number. Okay. So accordingly, NO2 will be given the numbers there. And one more important compound, that is one more important derivative of benzene, trimethylbenzene, 135 trimethylbenzene. So this is 135. Okay. So you can write it as 135 trimethylbenzene. And the same compound is having other name that is called mesitylene. We also call it as mesitylene here. Okay, the same compound. Right, so similarly, the same compound, now we'll replace that methyl groups with OH groups on 135 carbons. So here OH, here OH, and here one more OH. Okay. So this particular compound, you can write the IUPAC name like this, 135 trihydroxy. Okay, trihydroxybenzene. So this is IUPAC name. But generally we also call it as fluoroglucinol. Okay. Fluoroglucinol also will say. Right, that is another name for this compound. Okay, so I'm writing only important compounds only, important derivatives of this benzene, right? So next, one more important derivative, those are called as cresols. So cresols means we have phenol group. Okay, this is phenol. On the phenol, now methyl group is also there. Okay, So that means on benzene ring, one methyl group and one OH group. Okay, this particular compounds are called as cresol. Now that methyl group is in ortho position. Okay, that is in ortho position. So we call it as orthocresol. Okay, orthocresol you can say now. Similarly, that methyl group can be there in the meta position and also in para position. So then metacresol will say, paracresol will say. So on benzene ring, when I have methyl and OH group, both of them. Okay, on benzene ring, methyl and OH if you have, then we call it as cresol. Okay. So orthocresol because that OH group is on ortho position, 1 2 position. So similarly, on benzene ring, suppose if I have NH2 as well as methyl group. Okay, on benzene ring, NH2 is also there. Okay, and at the same time, methyl group is also presented. Okay, then we call it as orthotoluidine. Okay, we take it as orthotoluidine there. Okay. Next, one more important example. On benzene ring, suppose I have CH3CO. This we call it as acetyl group actually. So C double bond O CH3. Okay. So this particular compound is acetophenol. Okay, that is called acetophenol. Next, on benzene ring, now I have CHO. At the same time, OH group is also there on the ortho position. Okay, only on the ortho position. Then we call it as salicylaldehyde. Okay, this particular compound is called as salicylaldehyde. If I have COOH in that position, okay, so other than CHO, if you have COOH, salicylic acid will say that. Okay, so on benzene ring, now I have COOH here, and again ortho position is attached with OH. So now we call it as salicylic acid. Okay. Suppose I have two COOH groups in ortho position. Okay. On benzene ring, now I'm having COOH here. Here also one more COOH I'm having. So this is called as phthalic acid. Okay, that is called as phthalic acid. Next, one more example. Now here I'm going with carboxylic acid group and at the same time NH2 group. Okay. So this particular compound we call it as anthranylic acid. Okay, we call it as anthranylic acid. Okay. Next. So these are all different benzene derivatives we are going to see in different reactions. Okay, this is NHCOCH3 on benzene ring. This particular group we call it as acetonylide. Okay, we take it as acetonylide. Okay. Next, on benzene ring, again on benzene ring, now I'm going with OH groups. 1, 2, 3. All the 3 positions are attached with OH. Okay, this particular compound we take it as pyrogalol. Okay, pyrogalol will say. Next, on benzene ring, now I'm attaching CH double bond CH COH. Okay, this particular acid, carboxylic acid, we call it as cinnamic acid. Okay, so now let us go with the preparation methods. So actually benzene, first it was prepared in 19th century, that means around 1825. Okay, so that was extracted from the oil gas. Okay, so but benzene can be prepared in the laboratories also. Okay, and the preparation methods of benzene, so that we'll see now. Okay, so methods of preparation of benzene. So the first method, decarboxylation of aromatic acids. Okay, this is a laboratory method actually. So decarboxylation of aromatic acids. So lab method you can say this, because in laboratory you can conveniently do this. So in laboratory what we have to do means aromatic acid you take, that means benzoic acid will take. Okay, so for preparing benzene we are taking benzoic acid in the laboratory, and that benzoic acid first will mix up with NaOH. So I'll get sodium salt of benzoic acid, so sodium benzoate will come. And for that sodium benzoate, what we have to do is we'll add soda lime. Okay, soda lime means it is a mixture of calcium oxide plus sodium hydroxide. So at a time we don't add both of them. So initially sodium hydroxide will be taking, and we'll dissolve that benzoic acid in sodium hydroxide, and then this calcium oxide will be added to it. Okay, so and subsequent heating, that will remove the carbon dioxide from the carboxylic acid. Okay, so that will convert into benzene, and sodium carbonate will come. So here in the name of the method, decarboxylation. Decarboxylation means a removing of carbon dioxide from the molecule. So removal of carbon dioxide. Okay, so here what I am doing is I'll take benzoic acid initially, so that I'll mix up with sodium hydroxide, so that I'll be getting sodium benzoate, this one. Okay, this is sodium benzoate. So for this sodium benzoate, now what I need to do, I need to add soda lime. Okay, soda lime I have to add. Soda lime generally it is a mixture of calcium hydroxide plus sodium hydroxide. Okay, and this particular mixture we call it as soda lime. And soda lime, you remember, it is a decarboxylating agent. Okay, decarboxylating agent. That means it will remove the carbon dioxide from the carboxylic acid part. Okay, so now the final compound, and we are going to heat the mixture, so that now carbon dioxide comes out of the benzoic acid part, so it will become benzene, and that carbon dioxide will mix up with sodium hydroxide over there, so I'll be getting sodium carbonate in the solution. Okay, so this method conveniently we can do it in the lab. Okay, lab method, that's what we are saying, right? So next, that is first preparation method. So next, the second preparation method now we'll see. And this second preparation method, we are going to do it from benzene derivatives. Okay, from benzene derivatives we can do it. So that means different benzene derivatives we are going to take, and that benzene derivatives will be the starting materials, and we'll treat it with different reagents to get the benzene out of it. Okay, so now the first benzene derivative what I'm taking is a phenol. So I'm going to prepare benzene from phenol. So what we have to do with phenol? Okay, So very simple, phenol must be heated with zinc dust. Okay, so that zinc dust up to it becomes red hot. Okay, so up to that we have to heat it. Okay, so then it will get reduced to benzene. Okay, phenol means will be having OH group on benzene, right? So this we are going to heat it with zinc dust. We are adding zinc dust and we are going to heat it. Okay, so till it becomes red hot. So that means to a very high temperatures, you can say. So then that phenol will become benzene because their reduction is taking place because of zinc, and that zinc metal will get oxidized because it is a reducing agent. So it will get oxidized to zinc oxide. Okay, so that will be the process. Next, another benzene derivatives I'm taking now. So now this time I'll go with chlorobenzene. So chlorobenzene means on benzene ring chlorine atom. So here it is chlorobenzene. So this chlorobenzene, what we have to do with this? We can do it in two different ways. Like first thing, we can heat it with magnesium metal. Okay, in dry ether, because chlorobenzene will be dissolved only in dry ether. Okay, not in the normal solvent. So to make the reaction occur, so we need to heat it with magnesium and dry ether there. So now what will happen is it will convert into phenyl magnesium chloride initially. So that means now I'll be getting this compound, phenyl magnesium chloride will come. Okay, this is phenyl magnesium chloride. Okay, so this phenyl magnesium chloride we got, and now what we need to do is simple hydrolysis. That means adding of water. Water, if you add to it, so then it will become benzene. Okay, so the remaining part will come out as this, that OH. Okay, OH will be, so here OH is attaching to magnesium, and that hydrogen from water is attaching to the carbon, that benzene. So it will become benzene plus magnesium hydroxychloride. Okay, so that will become that compound. So this is another benzene derivative I took now. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to take another benzene derivative. So now third benzene derivative I'm taking. So now this time I'm going with benzene sulfonic acid. Benzene sulfonic acid. So this benzene sulfonic acid means on benzene ring it will be SO3H. That is called benzene sulfonic acid. Okay. So what we need to do with benzene sulfonic acid means simply we need to heat it with dilute HCl. Okay. So simply dilute HCl you take and you heat it around 150 to 200 degrees Celsius. Okay. So then it will convert into benzene, and that SO3H is there now, that will come out as sulfuric acid because I'm heating it with water. That means a dilute HCl I said no. Dilute HCl means it is nothing but water only, because very less amount of that HCl will be there in it. Okay, so that means mostly it is water only. So like we are heating with a steam simply. Okay, so here we are going to heat it up to 150 to 200 degrees Celsius. Okay, so dilute HCl is present there. That means nothing but steam. So this time what will happen is it will become benzene, and the remaining part that will come out as sulfuric acid, H2SO4. That means here what is happening on benzene, H plus ion from water is attaching there, and that SO3H is attaching with OH. So it is becoming H2SO4. Okay, so that is happening now. So this particular reaction we can also call it as desulfonation reaction, because I'm removing that SO3H from it. Okay, that's why desulfonation. Whenever the D is there, it is the removal of this sulfonic acid part. Okay, that's why we call it as desulfonation. Okay, desulfonation of benzene sulfonic acid here, right? So next, another derivative I'm going to take, that is aniline. So now I'm doing this preparation by using aniline. So now what I have to do with aniline? So aniline means on benzene ring, you'll be having an H2 group. This is called aniline. Okay. So now completely I have to remove that NH2 part from there. Okay. So we need to remove that NH2 part completely from it. Okay. So for that, what we need to do is we need to add nitrous acid to it. Okay. Nitrous acid we need to add here. So what is this nitrous acid? Nitrous acid means HNO2. But generally nitrous acid at room conditions, it won't be stable. Okay. So then how can we get this nitrous acid? So this nitrous acid easily you can get by combining sodium nitrite, okay, plus HCl. Okay. So sodium nitrate plus HCl, if you combine, that will give you nitrous acid, and this must be kept at 0 to 10 degrees Celsius. Okay, if anything more than that temperature is there, that nitrous acid immediately converts into nitric acid. So if you take nitric acid, this reaction won't come. Okay, this reaction won't be coming there. Okay, so now here what I'm doing. Okay, so in this case I'm adding nitrous acid to it. Okay, I'm going to add a nitrous acid, and I'm going to maintain the same temperature throughout the process, 0 to 10 degrees Celsius. Okay, so now after adding nitrous acid, it will become benzene diazonium chloride, N2Cl. Okay, this is called benzene diazonium chloride. Okay, this already I gave you in the examples. In the benzene derivative examples I gave you. So benzene diazonium chloride I got now. Now what I have to do with benzene diazonium chloride means simply we need to heat it with tin chloride. Okay, in the presence of basic medium, tin chloride I have to add. That means now what I'm doing is, for this I'm adding tin chloride in basic media, NaOH. Okay, now what is going to happen to this benzene diazonium chloride means it will get reduced. Okay, it will be getting reduced to benzene, and from the diazonium chloride it will lose that nitrogen gas and HCl. HCl will be coming out of it. Okay, so that means here reduction we are doing. After getting benzene diazonium chloride, we are reducing that compound there to benzene. Okay, or else you can go with another reagents also. Okay, not only tin chloride. If that tin chloride is not available, this benzene diazonium chloride you take. Okay, benzene diazonium chloride, you can heat it with ethyl alcohol also. So ethyl alcohol will be obviously available in any laboratories. Okay, and we know that ethyl alcohol is highly available in the market also, right? So benzene, and here also reduction will happen. So nitrogen gas comes out of it, and HCl will come out of it, and the ethyl alcohol part will convert into this acetaldehyde, CH3CHO will come. Okay, so that is another process we can do. Okay, other than SnCl2, now we can add C2H5OH. Okay, so even if a C2H5OH is also not available, okay, then we can do the same process using another reagent also. Okay, like H3PO2. Okay, metaphosphoric acid will say that, right? H3PO2 along with water, right, in the presence of copper plus ion. So with this also you can do this process. So that time I'll be getting same products only, but here the last one H3PO3 phosphorus acid will come. Okay, so this is how we can convert that diazonium chloride into benzene. Okay, so first thing, from aniline, diazonium chloride you have to get, and after getting the diazonium chloride in any method, any of that three methods you can apply to convert it into benzene. Okay, so that is another benzene derivative we are using. So with all these benzene derivatives, easily you can prepare the benzene. Okay, so any of that methods you can apply there. So if I don't have benzene derivatives, okay, in the laboratory, all these benzene derivatives not available. Okay, I don't have that. So then, how can we prepare benzene with other compounds? That means from ethane, that means from acetylene also you can prepare benzene. So that is synthesis from ethane. Ethane means acetylene. So this method also we can apply to prepare benzene. So we can take acetylene, and that acetylene it will be passed through red hot metallic tube. Okay, red hot iron tube. So in that case, what will happen is it will become cyclic polymerization will takes place, and benzene ring will form. Okay, so suppose I take ethane gas, acetylene gas I'm taking now. So this 3 moles I'll be taking. Okay, 3 moles of acetylene I'm taking, right? So this 3 moles of acetylene I'm passing it through red hot iron tube. Okay, so the temperature should be maintained around this temp, around it, 1500 to 2000 degrees Celsius. Okay, this much temperature we need to maintain now. Now what will happen is it will convert into benzene. Okay, so it will become benzene in that case, right? So that is one important method. From acetylene we can do like this. So suppose if I take, in the place of acetylene, if I am taking this compound, that means propine I'll take now. Okay, so this is propine. So if I apply this method for propine, there also benzene derivative will come here. Okay, so again here red hot iron cube I'm taking, and I'm going to maintain the same temperatures around 1500 to 2000 degrees Celsius. So here also I'll get the benzene derivative. That means now symmetric trimethyl benzene will come. That means 135 trimethyl benzene I told you now. That is also known as mesitylene I told you, right? So this is mesitylene what we'll be getting now. Okay. So if you do the same process with propine, mesitylene can come. Okay. Otherwise, suppose if I added different components, like I added 2 moles of acetylene, okay, and that is combined with 1 mole of propine, and I applied the same method here, okay, red hot iron tube, okay, and around 1500 to 2000 degrees Celsius I maintained. So in this case, now what will happen, what will come means toluene will come. That means I can prepare benzene as well as benzene derivatives in this process. Okay. So here I got toluene. Okay, methyl derivatives of benzene you can get. So similarly, now if I make 2 moles of propine now, okay, I'm trying different combinations here. Different combinations of uh, ethane and propane. So now initially I took 2 moles of acetylene and 1 mole of propane. Okay. Now I'm taking 2 moles of propane and 1 mole of acetylene. Okay, 1 mole acetylene and 2 moles of propane. So again I'll go with the same method. So I'll heat it or I'll pass it through red hot iron tube around 1500 to 2000 degrees Celsius temperature. Okay, so when it is passed through it, now at this point, now I can get metaxylene. I can get now. Okay, here one methyl group and here another methyl group. So I'll be getting metaxylene in this case. Okay, and you can also get ardopera isomers also. Ardoparaxylenes also you'll be getting all the combinations. Okay, all the xylenes, meta, para, ardo, xylenes you'll be getting from it. Okay, so these are the different methods we can apply to prepare benzene. Okay, other than these methods, now industrially what they do. Okay, industrially how they'll manufacture benzene. Okay, so manufacture of benzene. Manufacture means in larger quantities if I want. Okay, so these are all methods. If you want smaller quantities, that's okay. Okay, so manufacturing of benzene. So already in the sources of benzene, I think I told you. Okay, benzene, the main source of benzene is coal tar and petroleum. Okay, so from coal tar, it will be steam distillation will be done. Okay, coal tar distillation, and from petroleum also the same kind of process, distillation process we have to do. And these two are the main sources of aromatic compounds, not only for benzene. For aromatic compounds, the main sources of aromatic compounds is coal tar and petroleum. Okay, so from there they'll extract that benzene. Okay, benzene and benzene derivatives, right? And there is one more method we have for preparing benzene. That method we call it as aromatization method. So that means now we are going to take normal alkane. Okay, so the normal alkane will convert it into aromatic compound. Okay, so now I'm going to take normal hexane. Okay, normal hexane I will take, and that normal hexane I'll pass it through heavy metal oxides. Okay, and that heavy metal oxide should be kept around 500 to 600 degrees Celsius. Okay, that much temperature it should be there. Okay, and through that heavy metal oxides, if you pass this normal alkane, okay, that means normal hexane, if I pass, then it will become a benzene. So that means it will convert into cycloalkane first, and cycloalkane later it will convert into slowly into benzene. Okay, so that will happen here. So that process we can do. So let us say normal hexane I will be taking now. Okay, normal hexane. Normal hexane means C6H14. So this normal hexane that I have to uh, pass it through heavy metal oxides kept at higher temperatures. So like the chromium oxide I can go with, or vanadium pentoxide I can take it, or even molybdenum oxide also I can take any one of these. Okay, so around 500 degrees Celsius temperature, 500 to 600. Okay, that temperature you have to maintain, and even high pressure also required in this case. Okay, so under these conditions, if a normal hexane is passed through it, first it will become cyclohexane. Cyclization will happen. Okay, normal hexane, cyclohexane it will convert. Okay, and then cyclohexane will convert into benzene, right? So it will give you benzene plus a hydrogen gas is coming out of it. Okay, so it is losing the hydrogen gas. That means what is happening there? Simple oxidation. Okay, oxidation taking place. It is not a complete oxidation. Losing of hydrogen is taking place in this way. Okay, so that normal hexane will become benzene now. Okay, C6H6 will come like this. And this particular process we call it as aromatization process. Okay, and these are the important preparation methods of benzene.